I've got an eyesore in the front of my house, and it's my garbage can. I've got an inexpensive idea, and it happens to use pallets. I want to make sure that they're just wide enough for the garbage can to go in and out without rubbing. The next step is I got to cut some railings, actually. I'm going to measure about 7.5 inches down from the top. This is going to give me some good markings that I need to put each one on each side of the pallets. And I'm going to cut the less desirable pallet that's going to go on top. When I put it on top, then I'm going to secure it with some screws. I grabbed some old fence pallets that I had that were redwood, and I'm going to go ahead and just brad nail these on the top. I am also going to put it on the side. That way it looks more like a little bit of a door frame or anything when I put it on. Once it's all put together, then I can slide my garbage can in. I think it turned out really nice.
Start by measuring your space. We're using waterproof crib mattresses, so you'll build your couch around the crib mattress measurements. Cut the pallets using a circular saw. Be sure to watch out for nails. Cut all the way across, then flip over and cut the other side. After you've cut all the pallets, start stacking. We used a total of 12 pallets, cut to fit for our outdoor couch. Use a nail gun to attach painted plywood fronts and trim board. This part's a lot easier if you have a second set of hands. Now that the couch is assembled, you can add the crib mattresses. Ours were shipped covered in plastic, so we left that on to make them extra waterproof. Cover the mattresses with fitted sheets. These are inexpensive and easy to throw in the washing machine. Lastly, decorate with throw pillows and enjoy with your favorite furry friend.
Seeing some wood pallets gave me an idea. The first thing I did was mark a line with a Sharpie where the back of the bench and the seat part would connect. I measured the width of the boards and cut my materials at least twice as wide. I created tufted channels by laying down the mattress topper with the smooth side up toward me, then lay the batting on top of that. I only went down to the Sharpie line that I drew as my guide so that I wouldn't have padding in that area. I cut the mattress topper back in this area so that it would fit around a little bit better. Once you have those in place, add your material over top and you can start to see how it's going to look. I secured the fabric at the bottom where my Sharpie drawn line was. I lifted my pallet and started securing things in the back. At the top, I secured the fabric as well. Now, for the bench. I cut my second pallet in half lengthwise. Then I cut the mattress topper, batting, and fabric to size. I secured everything in place and then flipped it over to work on the bottom. I chose to reinforce the sides of my bench with 1x4s on both sides. For the legs, I just used leftover wood, joined them together, and then secured them to the bench. Now it was time to put it together. Once the bench and backing were secured, I could start working on finishing the top. To do this, I laid a piece of fabric, pretty side down, over the top. Then I attached the tack strip along the top, making sure to staple it onto the edge of the wood. I added a 1x4 along the bottom of the bench. Again, I added mattress topper and secured that in place. Then I added the fabric and tack strip along the top. I wrapped the fabric along to the side and secured it in place. This was a fun challenge to take on. It was sturdy, the exact height we wanted, and at a price that fit the budget.
I grabbed a free pallet for this genius garden hack. I used a hammer to remove some of the boards carefully. I left the nails in the boards so that I could use them again. I made 3 rows with 3 boards tight together on the bottom row, 2 boards together in the middle, and 2 boards near the top. Used a reciprocating saw to cut the extra off. I flipped the pallet over and followed the same pattern with 3 boards together on the bottom, 2 in the middle, and 2 at the top. I cut more 1x4s to fill in the bottom of each section and secured it with 3 nails on the front, and I hammered in 3 nails on the back side. I gave the front a quick sand. Next, I filled each section with soil and planted my favorite herbs. I used my Cricut to print stencils to paint labels for each section. When applying the stencil, I first sealed it with Mod Podge, and then I let it dry before painting with acrylic paint. Once the paint was near dry, I removed the vinyl and did some touch-ups with my black acrylic paint pen. And now I have the most beautiful herb garden that can also be hung on the wall.
First thing I'm going to do is I took a spare rug that I had, so I'm just going to unroll this. I've gotten a couple of these pallets. I'm going to put these on my rug. I'm just going to lay these down right here. And then I'm going to get started setting up for our picnic. My backyard goes downhill a little bit, so I've taken a couple of containers because I want these to be even so that people can dine on them. And one right here. So I have these great hard slate placemats. These will be for my actual place settings. The next thing I'm going to do is dress these up. So I'm going to use these kind of rather bohemian looking blue placemats. I'm just going to use these reed wrapped glasses. I'm going to use my pretty Lennox plates, these wooden handled flatware. When I'm going really casual, all I want to do with my cloth napkins is gather them in the middle and just like so, and just tie them in a knot. And I'm just going to toss those right in the middle of each one of my plates. So I just took battery lights like so and fed them right down inside my jars. Just let the wire go right down underneath the pallet. I have my jars all lit up and all the way down the middle of our table, and I just went to my closet and grabbed a couple of scarves, and I'm just gonna kind of weave those in between my jars. So I am going to add all kinds of blue cushions, but I wanted to show you how easy and how fun it is. If you have a source, if you can find a couple of pallets, even if you can just borrow them, to put together this kind of a fun backyard pallet picnic.
We're going to grab us an old pallet. We need to cut a section of the pallet out. Go ahead and separate it, but don't throw it away. We'll need those boards. Take the section that we cut, and we need to find the middle. That is how we're going to get our two ends perfectly aligned. Take that part that we cut off earlier and separate it and remove some of the boards with the nails in them. Just go ahead and grab a hammer, and you're just going to start tapping on the back side of the nail. You're going to pull that nail right out, and we're going to place them across the top of the two pieces we cut. Then I used a nail gun just to put it in place. This thing is going to be so strong, it doesn't take much to hold it together. Take a little bit extra, the boards that we have left over, and we're going to build a little bit of a shelf. We're not going to secure it because it's time to show you this final project. This is great for outdoor. It looks rustic, and it's great for cooking s'mores and making some hot chocolate, especially with that sliding shelf. Last week I walked out of my office and there they were right in the hallway. Some really good pallets. First thing I did was lay it down and start cutting around the edges. On the middle section, just take a crowbar, hammer it in, and you're going to pull it up. Don't pull too hard. You want to do it from both sides. Now all you got to do is take out the nails. They're easy to do. Just lay it on a table, tap on one side, use the bar on the other, and pull it out. Once you get all of your nails pulled, you're going to have a nice big pile of wood to use. Next step is to grab some crates from Michael's. I'm going to take 2 of these and glue them together, and then use clamps to hold them together while the glue dries. Once you get your 2 pairs, you're going to space them apart. Take 3 of your boards from the pallet, and we're going to use those to hold our 2 pairs of crates together. Now I'm going to take that pallet wood and I'm going to square up the ends. These are going to be the legs. And then I will take the front, the same length, and put it there, glue and nail. Now, the support boards for the pallet, I'm going to screw those in the back. Now it's time for more glue. Again, I'm going to use pallet wood. On the pallet boards, I cut 1 piece, just enough to have a little bit of an overhang, and then I put a little piece in between. Once I get it all glued down, I just took those brad nails and put them into place. Now it's time to work on the back. Wanted to make sure it wasn't too tall, but I took some of that pallet wood and nailed it into the sides. It's time to put some hanging hooks on. Just screw them right into the boards. Now, let's put this thing in place, and I went to Dollar Tree and grabbed a bunch of items for only $1. This is our potting board right here. It just turned out great, and all of this stuff I bought from Dollar Tree.